I spoke with Democratic Congresswoman Marilyn Strickland of our state about that bill and about whether a commission to look deeper into the Capitol siege has any legs. What did it mean to you personally as a Korean American Congresswoman to be part of passing that piece of legislation?
Well, it meant a lot. And, think about how those of us of Asian descent felt when we saw the spike in hate crimes starting to go up in 2020. And so, as we really called out these crimes happening and wanted people to feel comfortable reporting them, at the end of the day, Brandi, we want there to be accountability. And so by passing this bipartisan, by the way, Hate Crimes Act, it's a way for us to work with the Department of Justice to set up a person in-house who's going to investigate these and just make sure that there's accountability when it comes to reporting hate crimes at the federal level.
At the same time, is it kind of disappointing that in 2021 we need to pass a bill like this?
Brandi, it's always disappointing, but sadly, I remind people that the United States has a history of violence against Asian Americans in doing some things that are pretty awful. Everything from the Chinese Exclusion Act to the internment of Japanese Americans, and then now this. And so, the history of this United States is always evolving. We always strive and try to do better, but at the same time, when these types of crimes are happening, there's a responsibility to hold people accountable.
There were some AAPI groups that came out and said they didn't think that this went far enough to make meaningful change or to address some of the underlying, root causes of this. Are you aware of that pushback, and what's your response to it?
I'm aware there was some pushback, and we always appreciate all the input that we receive, but this is a very important first step in the process. And remember, Brandi, for a lot of people, they are reluctant to report these crimes for many reasons, but often it's because they're just afraid nothing's going to happen. There will be no accountability. So we think this is a very solid step, and it deals with all hate crimes, but we know that it was really prompted by the hate crimes happening against Asian Americans during COVID is really when it all started.
On the commission, switching gears, to investigate the attack on the Capitol from January 6th, what do you make of the late-hour opposition from not only the House Minority Leader, but now Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell?
It doesn't make any sense, but it makes you ask some questions. If you call yourself a patriot who loves this country, you want to get to the bottom of why the U.S. Capitol was attacked and a legitimate election, and a group of people tried to overturn a legitimate election. And a lot of questions remain, who was aiding, who was abetting, who was promoting, who was encouraging, who was involved in this? Because you hear stories of the Capitol Police saying that they weren't even getting the support they needed. And so we owe this to the U.S. citizens. We owe this to the American public. We owe this to ourselves, because safety is something that we have to have here. And again, they tried to overturn a legitimate election. That is absolutely ridiculous for this to just get swept under the rug. We need answers. We need accountability, and forming this bipartisan commission will help us get there.
One of the things that we heard, not only in a statement from former President Donald Trump, but it was echoed in what Minority Leader McCarthy said, is they think that you've got this commission to investigate January 6th, but no commission to look into the attacks at the, baseball practice, that ended with Steve Scalise being shot, no commission to look into some of the criminal unrest we saw happening across the country, including in our state. What do you say to that narrative from them?
What I say is we are members of the United States Congress, and we have a duty because we took an oath of office. And you had a group of violent people coming into the Capitol to overturn an election. People lost their lives. The very people who were attacked and hunkered down in the Capitol are voting against doing a bipartisan commission to investigate what happened. And so my answer is, you took an oath of office. You are supposed to do something that the people send you here to do, and that is to protect our Constitution, protect democracy, which is really now in danger. And so it's a different situation than to try to create these false equivalencies.
Do you believe that Mitch McConnell's now opposition to this kills it in the Senate?
I don't think it does, because I do believe that there are people in the Senate who want to put this thing to rest by getting to the facts and getting to it once and for all. But, again, that's over in the Senate. But I do believe that we need to do what we can. And to be honest with you, if the Republicans choose not to do this in a bipartisan fashion, what authority do we have to forge ahead with this if Democrats need to get it done? The American public wants to know what happened. We owe it to ourselves, and we owe it to them.
Well, I think that's part of it, and I want to end here. You know, you still have Republicans who believe the election was stolen from the former president, Republicans who have downplayed what happened on January 6th. And we are in overall this incredibly heated political climate. Do you think that you can guarantee the American people that this commission will not be sort of become political theater like so many other things in Congress do?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question, Brandi. And the term political theater is very interesting because what Kevin McCarthy and Mitch McConnell are doing, very dramatic, very theatric. People want the facts. And again, we want this to be bipartisan, but I believe the Democrats have the ability, if they want, to appoint a commission, and it will be objective and it will be bipartisan. And again, we're trying to get to the facts. And some of the questions that come to me really are around, why do you not want to do this? It's like, what are you hiding? What are you afraid of? Are you afraid of being subpoenaed? I mean, again, we need to get to the bottom of this, and we cannot pretend that what happened on January 6th wasn't of the same magnitude of what happened on 9/11.